Hello everyone, this is Dr. R. Lakshmi of Mathematics from St. Peter's Engineering College. Today in this class I am going to teach you the concept of quadratic forms. So in the previous classes, as you all know, we have been discussing about the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Then the Cayley-Hamilton theorem we have discussed. Then the diagonalization of the matrix to a diagonal matrix has been discussed after that. Now in this class, let us have the discussion of quadratic forms, right? So let me give an example to explain you about the quadratic forms. Suppose we are given an example a into x square plus b into y square plus 2hxy. Please look at the example I have shown here. There are three terms in the given example. The first term is having a coefficient, a constant, the variable x square. So constant a into x square, x is variable and a is a constant. So the degree of this first term is 2. Similarly, b is a constant, y is a variable, y square is there. So degree of b square is also 2. For the third term, 2 into h is a constant, x is a variable, y is a variable. For the total term, we add the powers of the variables 1, 1. So the term 3 also is having the degree 2. So what is our observation? It is a polynomial expression. Each term has a degree 2. So it is homogeneous. Because each term has degree 2, it is known to be homogeneous. And the degree of the each term is equal to 2. So being a polynomial expression, it is homogeneous having degree 2. So it is a polynomial expression, also homogeneous, its degree is 2. Therefore, this expression is called as the is called as the quadratic form. So can we now define according to the example we have discussed here? What is a quadratic form? It is a polynomial expression which is homogeneous having degree 2. Right? Similarly, let me give another example. Suppose we have x1 square plus 3 into x2 square plus 4 into x3 square minus 2 into x1 x2 minus 4 into x2 x3. Please look at the terms which are in our given polynomial expression. No doubt this is a polynomial expression, right? Is involving a simple algebraic expression, right? Where is involving the constants and variables. So this polynomial expression to be a quadratic form, we have to check whether it is homogeneous and each term has degree 2. Look at the first term, x1 square, degree 2. Similarly, second term, third term, in the fourth, in the fifth. Each term is having the same degree 2. So no doubt the expression in the example is a polynomial which is homogeneous having degree 2. Therefore, this is also a quadratic form. Now you compare the two examples. In the first example we have the quadratic form is there. It is a quadratic form but the variables are only 2, x and y. Whereas in the second quadratic form, the variables are 3. It is x1, x2, x3. So what is our observation? In the first case, it is a quadratic form in the 2 variables only. In the second example, it is a quadratic form in 3 variables. So from these two, our observation is that a quadratic form is a polynomial expression which is homogeneous having degree 2. And in any number of variables, it can exist. So a quadratic form can be in 2 variables, in 3 variables, in 4 variables, in any number of variables. There exists a polynomial homogeneous expression having degree 2. We can call it as a quadratic form. Am I clear? I have given the two examples. The first is a quadratic form in the 2 variables. Second, a quadratic form in the 3 variables. Similarly, we can have a quadratic form in 4 variables, 5 variables and so on. Right? Now, let me explain you now how to find out the matrix of the quadratic form. Let me tell you now what is the matrix of the quadratic form. Let us see an example. Suppose we are given x square plus 2y square plus 3z square minus 2xy. No doubt this is a quadratic form. It has 4 terms. Each term has the same degree 2. So clearly it is a quadratic form. Now we need to find what is the matrix of the quadratic form. First let me tell you, every quadratic form is denoted by capital Q or simply QF, quadratic form. Right? Now we look at the variables of the quadratic form first. How many variables are there here? X, Y and Z. So we form a column matrix X with the variables X, Y, Z of the quadratic form. Also we form a matrix A with the coefficients of the quadratic form in this way. Listen this formation of A carefully. First 3 terms are the square terms of the quadratic form. The 4th term is a product term of the quadratic form. So what is our point? Every quadratic form has square terms and product terms. Right? So here in this example, we have 3 square terms and 1 product term. From the square terms, we write the diagonals of the matrix A. How to write the diagonals? In the order of the variables x, y, z, following the same order, we write the coefficients 1, 2, 3 along the diagonal. And from the product term, we have to write down the remaining entries of the matrix. Here look at the quadratic form. It is minus 2 into x into y. X is the first variable, y is the second variable. Is clear to us. So because x is the first variable, y is the second variable, in the first row second column and second row first column. So remember, in the first row second column and the second row first column. So what is the place here? First row second column, second row first column. Due to the term x into y in the product. At these 2 places we have to write minus 2 by 2. That is minus 1 to be written at the 2 places. And these 2 elements we wrote from the product minus 2xy of the quadratic form. There are no other products. Therefore, the remaining all the entries of the matrix A are 0. Do you understand how this the coefficient matrix, the matrix of quadratic form is obtained? Am I clear? So, from the quadratic form, the variables are taken along the column and it is denoted by capital X. From the coefficients of the quadratic form, we write the matrix of the quadratic form. It is called coefficient of the matrix. It is called the coefficient matrix of the quadratic form, and you can observe that it is always a symmetric matrix. It is always a symmetric matrix. Using this X and A, now our quadratic form can be represented in matrix notation. Suppose first we write X transpose into the matrix A into the matrix X. So what is our X transpose? It is the row matrix X, Y, Z. What is the matrix A? It is 1, minus 1, 0, minus 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3. Into the column X, it is X, Y, Z. When we multiply the 3 matrices X transpose A and X, we are going to get the given quadratic form expression x square plus 2y square plus 3z square minus 2xy. And therefore we consider for the given quadratic form, the matrix notation is x transpose Ax, where x is the column of variables of the quadratic form and A is the symmetric matrix or simply coefficient matrix of the quadratic form. So are you clear with this matrix notation of the quadratic form and the process of writing the matrix of the quadratic form? Yes? Yes. Now let me explain. What is the canonical form and how the quadratic form be reduced to a canonical form. Let us see. What is a canonical form? Before I tell you what is the canonical form, let me give its other names. This canonical form can also be called as principal axis form, sum of the squares form, or normal form. Right? So what are the other names of the canonical form? Sum of the squares form, Squares form, principal axis form, also called normal form. Now let us see what kind of the form this is. As we told already, in a quadratic form there exists always square terms and product terms also. Suppose there exists a quadratic form which has only square terms and no product terms. For example, suppose the quadratic form is equal to x square plus y square minus 3z square. The quadratic form is involving only the square terms. Therefore, this particular quadratic form involving only squares, which is the sum of the squares, is called as the canonical form of the given quadratic form. And why we are saying that it is the canonical form of the given quadratic form? Because every quadratic form has both the squares and products. It is possible to reduce this to always another canonical form, another quadratic form which become a canonical form, right? Now let me explain the process to reduce the quadratic form to canonical form. Let us see how the quadratic form which has both the squares and products be reducible to a quadratic form having only squares, which is also called as the canonical form. Let us see. Suppose that we are given a quadratic form x transpose Ax. Let us suppose. From this quadratic form, first we write the matrix A and we find its eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Find eigenvalues and eigenvectors of the matrix A. Now the second step of our method is, what we do is we check whether eigenvectors are linearly independent. Whether the eigenvectors do not depend on each other or not, that we check. That can be easily checked. And also we check here that the eigenvectors are pairwise orthogonal. Pairwise orthogonal. Pairwise orthogonal means whether the inner product of the eigenvectors are equal to 0 or not. Whether the inner product of the eigenvectors equal to 0 or not. Once the eigenvectors are independent and pairwise orthogonal, we determine the vectors e1, e2, e3, which are the normalized eigenvectors. Suppose we want to get the normalized vector e1. That can be obtained from the eigenvector, first one x1. So, for example, if we want to calculate e1, the first normalized eigenvector, what we do? We divide the first eigenvector with its norm. Its norm. And what is the norm of the vector? It is the square root of sum of the squares of the elements in the x1. It is like x1 square plus x2 square plus x3 square. If x1, x2, x3 is the column of the vector x1. Similarly, we determine e2, e3, the other two normalized eigenvectors. Now in the third step, using the normalized eigenvectors, we form a normalized model matrix P, which is e1, e2, e3. Right? Now in the next step, because our normalized model matrix is by the construction always orthogonal, what we do? With this we try to find a linear transformation which is orthogonal transformation formed by the orthogonal matrix P. That is given by capital X is equal to capital P into Y. Because this linear transformation is formed by using the orthogonal matrix P, we say that the linear transformation X equal to Py is an orthogonal transformation. Right? After forming this orthogonal transformation X equal to Py, in the next step what happens is we reduce the given quadratic form. Right? Our quadratic form is X transpose Ax. Over this quadratic form, we apply the orthogonal transformation X equal to Py. Then what happens? X transpose is Py the whole transpose into A into Py, which we get Py the whole transpose become Y transpose into P transpose into A into Py. because the associativity lies true in the product of matrices, the middle three matrices can be written as the single product P transpose AP into Y, and which can be further written as Y transpose. Already by the process of diagonalization we are knowing that P transpose AP is a diagonal matrix according to process of diagonalization using orthogonal transformation. So we have Y transpose dy, where Y is the column of variables of the canonical form. Because the variables of the quadratic form are given x, y, z. Suppose in the quadratic form we are given the variables as x1, x2, x3. Then in the corresponding required canonical form, we suppose that the variables are y1, y2, y3, and the column is denoted by capital Y. Now this Y transpose dy is again a quadratic form because the coefficient matrix is a diagonal matrix. This quadratic form will always have only squares it will constitute. Because it has only squares, we say that this is our required canonical form. Okay, is the process clear? What we have done? From the quadratic form, first we have written what is the matrix of the quadratic form. We have determined the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Then we have checked whether the eigenvectors are independent, whether the eigenvectors are pairwise orthogonal or not. To check the pairwise orthogonality of the vectors, we check pairwise the inner product of the eigenvectors is giving us the value 0 or not. Once both of the conditions are satisfied, we normalize each of the eigenvector to form E1, E2, E3. After getting E1, E2, E3, we group them into a square matrix which is denoted by P, which is called as the normalized model matrix. By the process of its construction, it become always orthogonal. Now using this orthogonal matrix P, we form a linear transformation which is also called orthogonal transformation because P is orthogonal. X is equal to Py, where this X is taken from the column X variables of the quadratic form. P is the orthogonal matrix. And what is our Y? Y is the column of variables of the canonical form that we are going to determine. So we have to assume a column of variables for this Y. Right? After having this X equal to Py, now we apply this X equal to Py on the given quadratic form. Its matrix form. Once the X equal to Py is applied over the matrix form of the quadratic form, it gradually reduces to the sum of the squares form. Like a quadratic form with only squares, it will reduce to, and which is nothing but the canonical form. And in this way, the given quadratic form always converts to the canonical form using orthogonal matrix P or the orthogonal transformation X is equal to Py. Okay, now based on this process of converting quadratic form to canonical form, I would like to introduce few basic terminology that are very much useful while solving our problems over the quadratic forms and canonical forms. One of the first such terms is the rank of the quadratic form. Suppose we want to find out the rank of the quadratic form. Suppose the quadratic form is Q is equal to X transpose AX. Then the rank of the quadratic form is equal to the rank of the matrix of the quadratic form. So what is our rank of the quadratic form? It is the rank of the matrix A of the quadratic form. Sometimes the rank of the quadratic form, which is denoted by R, can also be defined in terms of the eigenvalues of the matrix A or the canonical form of the quadratic form. Am I clear? The rank of the quadratic form denoted by small r is defined as the rank of the matrix of the quadratic form. Sometimes based on the eigenvalues and canonical form also it can be defined. So in terms of eigenvalues, it is the number of non-zero eigenvalues of the, right? So in terms of the eigenvalues, it is the rank of the matrix is number of non-zero eigenvalues of the matrix A. And if you want to define it in terms of the canonical form of the quadratic form, it is defined as the number of non-zero terms of the canonical form. So in three ways we can define the rank of a quadratic form. It is either the rank of the coefficient matrix or the number of non-zero eigenvalues of the coefficient matrix or the number of non-zero terms of the canonical form of the given quadratic form. Right? Now let us see what is called the index S of the quadratic form. Let us see. What is the index S of the quadratic form? It is denoted by S. It also can be defined in terms of both the eigenvalues and canonical form also. Right? Suppose we want to define it in terms of the eigenvalues. So it is defined as the number of positive eigenvalues of the given matrix A. Of the given matrix means of the matrix of the given quadratic form. So what is our S? It is the number of positive eigenvalues of the matrix of the quadratic form. And in terms of the canonical form, the same index S can be defined as the number of positive terms of the canonical form. So in the canonical form, we count the number of positive terms. The count can also be defined as the index of the quadratic form. Now let us see how the signature of the quadratic form is defined. How the signature of the quadratic form is defined. It is defined as 2s minus r, 2 into index minus r, or sometimes it can also be defined as the difference between the number of positive eigenvalues and the number of negative eigenvalues, or also the number of positive terms of the canonical form minus the number of negative terms of the canonical form. Okay, so in this way we can define the rank of quadratic form, index S of quadratic form, and signature of the given quadratic form. We have one more important basic terminology regarding the quadratic forms and canonical form, which is the nature of the quadratic form. Which is the nature. Now let us see what is the nature of the quadratic form. Okay, so suppose we have given the quadratic form QF is equal to X transpose AX, where there are n number of variables. Okay, because there are n number of variables in the quadratic form, the column X will have the same n number of variables in its column. Okay, now based on the terms of the canonical form and the eigenvalues of the matrix A, we can have the different type of the nature of the quadratic form. In the first case, we say that the quadratic form is positive definite if all the eigenvalues of the matrix A are positive. Also can be said in terms of the canonical form if all the terms of the canonical form are positive. So when is the quadratic form positive definite? When all the eigenvalues of the matrix are positive, or if all the terms of the canonical form are positive. Similarly, suppose to be negative definite, we are telling, suppose if all the eigenvalues of the matrix A are negative in terms of canonical form, if all the terms of the canonical form are negative, then we say that the quadratic form is negative definite. Now let us see the other cases. Positive semi-definite. Right? We say that a quadratic form is positive semi-definite if the rule is to be the quadratic form a positive definite, it must be satisfied that all the eigenvalues are positive, all the eigenvalues of the matrix A are positive with at least one eigenvalue 0. With at least one eigenvalue is equal to 0. Right? So when is the quadratic form positive semi-definite? If all the eigenvalues of the matrix A, the coefficient matrix of the quadratic form, are positive with at least one eigenvalue equal to 0. Or in terms of the canonical form, we can say that if out of all the terms of the canonical form, one of the term is a 0 term and the remaining are all positive terms. Right? Similarly, we can define the negative semi-definite nature. We say that the quadratic form is negative semi-definite if all the eigenvalues of the matrix A are negative with at least one eigenvalue. With at least one eigenvalue is equal to 0. Right? If all the eigenvalues are negative with at least one eigenvalue 0, or in terms of the canonical form, if one or more of the canonical form terms are 0, with the remaining all terms negative, we say that the quadratic form is a negative semi-definite. And the last possibility, the last case of the quadratic form nature is indefinite. Indefinite. We say that a quadratic form is indefinite if few of the eigenvalues are positive and few of the eigenvalues are negative and there is no 0 eigenvalue. Or in terms of the canonical form, we can say that if all the terms of the canonical form are either positive or negative only, then we say that the quadratic form is indefinite. Okay. Now, based on this nature of the quadratic form and our previous basic terms regarding the quadratic forms, we can have the sums that we can do in the next class. Thank you.